Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is January 2023 and I'm sure you can tell we have finally done it. We have hit the $1 million mark as of this month, just crossed the $1 million mark to $1,004,000. What a journey. 10 years, 9 months of giving net worth updates just for this day of hitting $1 million. So we've finally accomplished it. My wife and I are currently 28 years old, and we're both working full time. Started this journey when I graduated high school in May of 2012 and had a net worth of about $4,000. Decreased my net worth down to negative $6,500 in that first year by May 2013. And from there, it just up and up and up. We tracked our net worth every single month. We set goals. We accomplished those goals. And yeah, so 4 years it took me to get to 100,000. 6 years and 3 months it took to get to 250,000. 8 years to get to 500,000, and 10 years, 9 months to finally hit the $1 million mark. So I'll give a quick update on our situation as of right now, as of January. So made some nice bonuses this month for my job. So 21,000 in gross income, paid 6,000 in taxes, 700 in the 401k, 14,000 take-home pay. For my wife, the same income as she's basically made the last couple months, but it's double for January because she doesn't get paid in December. $8,859. Her money went to all these various places: HSAs, 401ks, and then $276 in insurance. She took home a little bit less than $6,000 this month. So rental income is now up to $2,517 a month, so a little bit more than what we were making last year due to some rent increases. But gross income for the month, $32,000. Take home pay at $22,000. And jumping into net worth, all houses just went up their standard 2% per year. Again, I feel like a lot of these houses are way undervalued. The house my wife and I live in, I'm fairly confident we can sell for $390. Both of these are probably close to $190 to $200. The land is probably somewhere around that value, maybe $400,000. Vehicles, no real changes compared to last month, and our saving grace this month was stock market. Stock market was up maybe 5%, maybe 6% this month. So HSA recovered, made $6,000 in the HSA this month. I made $15,000 in my 401k and then $6,000 in my wife's 403b. So bringing us to $305,000 and an increase of about $27,000 compared to last month. So it had been down for the last few months and just killing our net worth, but we are finally there. So debts, made minimum payments on everything because these are low interest rate debts on 30-year fixed rate properties. And cash, did not have to put the 20% down payment this month to the builder. I'll have to do that next month, so our cash is going to get completely wiped out as we start to build this new house. So saved $10,000 with all the money that we made this month from bonuses and stuff. And then rental property account went up about $1,000, up to $201,435. So net worth is officially $1,004,270, and we finished the series $226,000 ahead of our goal pace of becoming a millionaire by the age of 30. So we're currently about 28 and a half years old. So we finished about 18 months ahead of schedule, roughly. So again, I set goals when I was 18 years old. I wanted to be a millionaire by the age of 30, and just broke that down into month by month, small sections. I never missed a single month of tracking my net worth, never missed a month of tracking my expenses, never missed a month of tracking my income. Everything was captured in this spreadsheet, and here we are 10 years and 9 months later, and we're there. It's a little bit surreal, honestly. It doesn't feel much different from last month. I mean, it's only, I guess, $40,000 more than what we had last month, but maybe it hasn't sunk in yet. It feels weird to work towards a goal for so long and finally achieve it. And I don't know. I didn't know if I was expecting fireworks to go off or something, but yeah, it just feels kind of weird. So. I'm probably going to think for a few months on what the next goal will be. I'll definitely keep pushing forward, and yeah, I just need a little bit of time to think what's next for my wife and I. So a few things about us, I suppose. So we were never super high income earners. I mean, I guess we're getting there as of 2022 and this year 2023. The average money that my wife and I made throughout these 10 years, you would think, all millionaires have to make $150,000 a year to become a millionaire, and you're going to have to work for 40 years to even get there. My average salary for the last 10 years and 9 months was $57,000 on average. So a bunch of these months back here in 2015, 2014, 2013, I was making hardly any money, and that's why it took so long to save that first $100,000. I had no work experience, nothing, and so I'm just trying to get on my feet. I didn't have a car, had to save up money and buy a car and go negative net worth. And yeah, so 57,000 was my average income for that 10 years, 9 months. For my wife, her average income was $32,679. So combined, we were about maybe $89,000 average income over these 10 years. And a lot of that too, these last couple years, we made 245 and 215, so that really bumped everything up. But really, that is weighted heavily just on the last 2 years of earnings for us. So we were not super high income earners. I would say not even average most of the time. It's hard to even be average when you're in your 20s and you're just getting work experience and just starting your career. So probably 5 years of that, we were making less than $40,000 a year each. It wasn't until these last couple of years that we really got huge income increases and got 8 to 10 years of experience in the careers and the fields that we've been working in, and saw our salary finally increase. So that was thing number one. It was we were never super high income earners. What we did have on our side was just a strong work ethic. Most weeks, I worked at minimum 60 to 70 hours a week. A lot of these companies I've been salary at. I worked hard to get a good reputation in the companies that I've worked at, and 8 years later, I'm finally getting rewarded for it. I feel like, which is great. But I've had that same work ethic now for the past 10 years, working 80, sometimes up to 110-hour work weeks at my job, and just now, kind of been taking advantage of for the first 6 years working that much, and just now am I finally getting what I feel like I deserve. So a lot of these days I'm sleeping on the floor at work just to make a good reputation, making sure that I get projects done, and yeah, so it's been a long 10 years. On top of that, we made a key distinction when we were about 19, or maybe 18, 19 years old. I would say 95% of my friends in my age group, all of them went off to college. They went to these big universities where it was $50,000 a semester for school. They were living on campus. They didn't have to work, just a full-time student. That is where my wife and I differed. My wife worked as a teacher's assistant while she was going through school. She was significantly smarter than I was. She probably had a 3.8, 3.9 grade point average through high school. I probably had a 2.5. I really struggled with learning things that I honestly didn't really care about. I didn't really care about, let's say, Spanish class. So it was hard for me to focus and want to learn about stuff that I just didn't care about a whole lot. It really made no difference in the long run, having a 2.5 or having a 3.9 GPA. But the thing that did make a difference was not taking on student loan debt when we were 18 or 19 years old. My wife got scholarships and she was a teacher's assistant, and so she got her college completely paid for. I worked full-time for a company that paid for my school, and I cash flowed a little bit. I would save up a couple $1,000s. I would take a few classes. It took me 3 years to get my first degree, my associate's degree, and then it took me another 3 or 4 years to get my bachelor's degree, and then I maybe have 6 months left to get my master's degree. So still 10 years later, I'm going through school, but it's slow and steady. I would rather take 6 years to get a bachelor's degree and avoid $200,000 of student loan debt at 8-9% interest and get a head start on life. The unintended consequence with that I learned was I thought I was just going and working and avoiding student loan debt. What actually happened was I went and got a job in pharmaceuticals. And for 4 years, I worked an entry-level job in pharmaceuticals that paid for my tuition. The unintended consequence was that I got work experience while I was going through school. And so now at my age, the position I'm in right now requires 10 years of pharma experience. I'm 28 years old and have 10 years of pharma experience, or very, very close, and I could apply to a position that anybody else in my age group could never apply to because they didn't spend that 4 years that I did working and going through school. They spent that just going to school, and they can't claim that 4 years as work experience where I can. And so it has made me by far the youngest senior manager in the company that I work at, which is awesome. But there was a lot of hard work that came along with that. So I'm going to briefly go over kind of what it took to what I feel like helped us get to the $1 million mark. I see a lot of things. A lot of people think that you can only make $1 million by gambling, or your grandma passes away and wills you $5 million, and that's how you get it. That's really not the truth that I found. My wife and I think we made $4,000 from her grandmother passing away a couple years ago, and our net worth was already 800 something thousand dollars. It was a nice gift that she gave us, but the $4,000 really did not contribute to our net worth all that much. So for us, we did not inherit anything. A lot of times we had to give parents and give family members loans to help them stay out of bad situations. And so being financially disciplined really helped our families as well. But the number one best thing that my wife and I did was tracked our net worth. So it's very similar to if you want to lose weight or get in better shape. It's extremely hard to lose weight when you don't know how many calories a day that you eat. It's the same thing in personal finance. If you don't even know what your net worth is, it's extremely difficult to know whether you're making progress and becoming more wealthy or more financially free, or if you're if you're becoming more in debt and you're digging yourself into a deeper hole. So I would say that made up 40% of our $1 million was this one habit of just tracking our net worth. Again, I said I did not miss a single month in 10 years and 9 months of tracking. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. 15 minutes of once a month tracking your net worth, or even maybe 30 minutes a quarter if you don't have that much time. But 15 minutes once a month, it tells you no matter the key thing is tracking your net worth. The time that it takes, or no matter what your goal is, whether it's to pay off debt or if it's to save cash to buy a house or maybe an engagement ring, or maybe you're investing in your 401k, no matter what your financial goal is, if you're moving in the right direction, your net worth should be increasing. If you're paying down debt, that's a liability. So the less debt that you have, the higher your net worth should be. So that is why I put tracking my net worth as 40% of what helped us become a millionaire. 30% next on the pyramid here is income versus expenses. It is extremely difficult to become a millionaire in your 20s. Again, we're 28 years old, 28 and a half years old, making $20,000, $30,000 a year, working part-time and spending $20,000, $30,000 a year. Becoming a millionaire is just a simple mathematical formula. It is the amount that you make versus the expenses that you have, and then maybe a little bit how much you invest in the percentage that you get on your investments. But primarily, in the beginning years of being 18, 19, 20 years old, my primary focus was increasing my income. When I first started, I was at $7.65 an hour, and then now I'll be close to $136 an hour 10 years later. But those first 3 or 4 years, it took me 4 years just to get to like $15 an hour. And so that is why I worked so many hours to save up as much money as I could. And so in the beginning years, it was extremely important that I saved and minimized my expenses as much as I possibly could. I never went to the movies. I did not go to restaurants. I'm not saying everybody needs to be that extreme, but that is what helped me save so much in the very beginning. And if I would not have done that, if I would have been just cash flow neutral for the first 4 years, it would have taken me even longer to save that first 100,000. And that first 100,000, I would say 100,000 is 1/3 of the way there to millionaire, or maybe even close to halfway there to millionaire. That's how hard the first $100,000 is to save up. So if you can get that first 100,000 by maximizing your income, minimizing the expenses that you have every month, then you can start to dial that back. As you get to 250,000 and half a million, it doesn't become that as important as much anymore. But in those first few years, it's extremely important to try to make as much money and spend as least money as possible. And so this chart here shows you if you start saving at we'll say age 20, which is the second column here. If you can save $60,000 a year, you'll be a millionaire by the age of 30. But if you only save $2,000 a year, it will take you till age 72 to finally hit $1 million. So it looks like we saved just over $60,000, maybe $61,000, $62,000. But that is how we did it. We started at age 18, so I guess it's almost exactly, we saved maybe $61,000 roughly on average, and that's at a 7% interest compounded yearly. To hit the $1 million mark. But this simple chart shows you, based on what your age is and based on how much money that you can save each year, this is roughly how long it would take you to hit the $1 million mark. The third most important thing was investing. So this is probably 20% of our net worth I can attribute to how we invested. By no means am I an expert on investing at all. I hardly did single stocks whatsoever. I would say 98% of my investing was index fund or simple mutual funds. And it does not just have to be stocks as well. A lot of my investing was real estate. I understand real estate a lot better than I do stocks. But the key thing is it's extremely hard to become a millionaire if you put all your money in your checkings account and your money doesn't work for you. You have limited time every single day, and I can attest you can only work about 110 to 120 hours a week before you start to go crazy and you need sleep. That's literally all you do is go home, sleep, go right back into work a 16-hour shift. So you're limited based on the time that you have every single day. So you have to find a way to make money work for you. That can be in real estate, that can be owning your own business, that could be royalties from a book or from a movie that you have, or that could be investing in stocks. And so all of these ways make your money work for you. And as you accumulate more and more and more, your money's going to be able to work harder than you do every single day, going to work and working 40 hours a week. The fourth most important thing is tax savings. So this is really not that important in the grand scheme of things. We're at 91% of our strategy of becoming a millionaire. We've already covered 90%. So tax savings, I would say, is 9%. So there are some very easy ways, like putting money in a traditional 401k, 403b, 457b, putting it in an HSA, putting it in an IRA. Itemizing your deduction versus standard deduction. All of these ways, owning a business and having losses in your business. All of these ways can help you save on taxes. Of course, consult with your tax professional. But this was what we did to kind of put the cherry on top and get that final little bit that we needed. And just in the last couple, maybe 2-3 years, I've learned a little bit about tax savings. And it can make a big difference. Not putting money in your 401k, bringing it home in your checkings account, you're paying all that money in taxes where you could put it in your traditional 401k and save on taxes right now. You'll have to pay taxes later, of course, but again, that is the other aspect is, saving on taxes can add a little bit of boost to your net worth. But really overall, it's investing, it's income versus expenses, and it's tracking your net worth mainly. The very last thing that I'll mention here is networking. Having a good network, befriending people or helping people that have a high net worth, and maybe it's your CPA, maybe it's your attorney, maybe it's a lawyer, maybe it's, somebody that understands the financial industry really well. So I had a couple people in my life that had a few rental properties. And so I worked for free for them a lot of the time, flipping their houses, doing stuff and just junk that they didn't want to do just to try to learn what they were doing. Did they do the work for me? No. Did they maybe tell me a couple tips that I took along and implemented? Maybe, yeah. But like networking, it helps a slight bit. If you can read all the books you want or have all the thoughts that you want, but you're one perspective, and having multiple people's perspective on a situation is always better than just your own. So that's why I put networking at 1%. But ultimately, no matter how hard you network, nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can go to work and track your net worth. Nobody can, make more money and spend less next year than what you did last year. Nobody can do the hard work of investing for you. So the key thing is investing, income versus expenses, tracking your net worth, and those are 90% of what it takes, or what my wife and I did to become a millionaire. And so it is, you would think it's, a complex formula. I hacked the stock market and I figured out the algorithm to, buy call options and future options. It's not like that at all. It was extremely boring. It was 10 years of putting money in our 401k, 10 years of trying to work hard every single day. And really, for me, the goal came from I want to be financially independent and financially free. I don't want to have to work for somebody my whole entire life. I'm 28 years old, like I said 4 or 5 times now, and I want to do my own thing eventually. I still want to work and be productive, but I want to be productive in the way that I would like to. So I'm still not there even today at the $1 million mark. I'm thinking it might be $2 or $3 million before I'm truly financially free and financially independent and can make the life decisions that I want to make. But until then, I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm sure if it's just like it was before, $1 million is already halfway there to $3 or $5 million. Hopefully, it's halfway there to $10 million, but we'll see. So yeah, my wife and I are super excited. We're not really going to change anything going forward. We're just going to keep working our jobs, keep trying to get promotions, keep trying to buy rental properties. We're going to hopefully finish building our house, have our baby in June or July, get moved into our new house, sell the old house, and yeah, take it from there and see what life hands us. So thank you all for watching the video and joining me on this journey. It's been 133 episodes now of posting, and so yeah, excited to finally be at the $1 million mark. So thank you all for joining me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Next month's videos are on the screen now, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, things that you'd like to see in future videos, just comment them down below. Thanks everybody, and we will see you in the next video.